Hi, my name is George Stagnino. I'm the editor of the Peter Dack portfolio. What I would like to show you today is a very simple indicator, but it's very, very powerful. And what I would like to do is to put it in a context of business cycle so that you can appreciate the timing and the implications for not only for the growth of the economy, but also for the stock market and your investments. So first I'm going to show you my concept of business cycle, where we're in, how interest rates are so sensitive to changes in business conditions, and I will show you a chart of short-term interest rates, and I'll show exactly what they are telling us. A very powerful message if you can interpret it, I think, the right way. And then I'll show you the indicator which ties to the whole thing. Okay, here we go. The economic indicators that they're reported every day by the newspapers are really divided in three classifications. The leading indicators, they lead economic activity, and usually they lead by anywhere between 1 and 2 years. Then there are the coincident indicators, and that's really what it is the economy. And then there are the lagging indicators. The lagging indicators are called like that because they follow the economy, and they are inflation and interest rates. Now, the powerful of the indicator that I'm going to show you is based on the reliability in forecasting economic activity by using the lagging indicator. The lagging indicator, as I said, has inflation and interest rates. They start going up after the economy started rising, and usually takes a year and a half for inflation and interest rates after the economy picked up growth again to rise. So why they're important? Well, because when interest rates and inflation rise, you can expect within a year, if not less, the leading indicators to start declining. The leading indicators are such as stock market, earnings, the index of leading indicators of the conference board. So watching the lagging indicators gives you an idea when you really should start getting defensive, because the economy is likely to slow down in the future. Now, after the leading indicators decline, then the economy declines, and then after a while also inflation and interest rates decline. This is where we are standing now. This is what's happening now, that the economy is slowly declining from the strong growth of 21, 22, and inflation and interest rates are very close to a peak. So the next turning point is here. So now this is where the stock market bottoms and the economies, you start looking for the economy to start picking up. So let's see now how interest rates are going to help you decide where you are and what's going to happen. Sidney Hoper, the great bond market trader at Goldman Sachs, wrote once that interest rates are the fever chart of an economy, and from the trend of interest rates you can tell what's going on. And this is a chart that goes from the 50s to current to most recent times, and you can see periods of high inflation, disinflation, and disinflation here. And here's accelerating growth, and here's slowing down growth. But they say something more. I told you before that interest rates are lagging indicators. As you can see, these are the recession periods, the gray vertical lines, and that from the end of the recession, it takes a year and a half before short-term interest rates start rising. But when they start rising, then this is the time that you are in phase 2 of the business cycle, for those who follow my videos. And eventually, that means that the economy is going to slow down. And the more they rise, the more the likelihood of a serious slowdown until they peak. Peak means that you're now in phase 3 and getting into phase 4. When they start declining, means that the growth is very slow and heading much slower. In fact, we are heading for a recession here. And this has happened every time, here, 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 and also in the 50s and the 60s. So right now, what is happening? That interest rates have been rising from 0 to 5%. And of course, the economy is slowing down. The stock market peaked in 2021. So when we'll have the recession? Well, if history is 100% batting average, you'll have to see short-term, the rate on treasury bills to decline. And then you know that you're getting very close to a recession. But this is an important feature, this chart, that from the peak in interest in treasury bills to the bottom, from the peak 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 to the bottom here, from the peak to the bottom here, treasury bills decline at least 5 percentage points. In other words, here they were 5%, they declined to 0. Here they were roughly 6-7%, they declined to 2. This drop is roughly at least 5 percentage points. So if history is any guide, as soon as treasury bills start declining, from the point where they peak, they will decline most likely at least 5 percentage points. Now let's see now how all this applies to the indicators that I would like to discuss with you to predict the economy and the stock market more precisely. In the previous slide, I showed you how sensitive interest rates are to business conditions. They rise after the economy strengthens after a year and a half. They slow down and then decline just ahead of a recession. So this is the yield curve. This has 4 important properties, and I think is a tremendous tool to develop an investment strategy. I'll show you how. This is recession. This is a recession. The gray lines, vertical lines are recessions. The yield curve shown in this graph is the difference between the 2-year and the 10-year treasury bond yields. When the yield curve is below 0 means that the 2-year has risen above the 10-year bond yields, like in this case, like in this case, and like in the 80s. Now, this has, as I said, 4 important properties. First of all, when the yield curve declines and goes negative, that is inverted, the 2-year is greater than the 10-year, it tells you that the economy is slowing down. There is no question about it. But is there going to be a recession? No. When there is going to be a recession? The recession is when the yield curve goes up and goes above 0. What does it mean? When the yield curve steepens, that is, the 2-year falls below the 10-year. It happened here, it happened here, it happened here, it happened here. So as 100% batting average, that you have to wait for a recession after the yield curve steepens again. So applying it to the current conditions, this tells you that the economy is slowing down. It's probably heading for a recession. But when is going to be a recession? You have to wait for this curve, the yield curve, to flatten and then steepens with the 2-year treasury yields below the 10-year. So this is an important thing. This it tells you that it's slowing down. This is telling you that now you're getting close to a recession. Now, there is another application for this curve, but when the yield curve goes inverted, it tells you the economy is slowing down. This is slowing down here. This is slowing down here, slowing down here. And what is the sectors that perform well? Sectors that perform well are defensive sectors like healthcare, utilities, and staples. Bonds also perform well during these periods here. Now, how do we apply then to the stock market? Well, the stock market bottoms, the bear market bottoms, when the yield curve becomes positive, when the economy is entering a recession, so the stock market bottoms around here when the yield curve is steepened. So the application here is, what is this saying? Yes, the economy is slowing down. Yes, defensive strategies, utilities, staples healthcare has been the right strategy since 2021 because the market peaked in 2021. Now, is there a recession? No, slower growth. When there is going to be a recession? When the yield curve flattens and then steepens. At that time, then the stock market is likely very close to a bottom. And this is the time to become aggressive again with cyclical sectors. I am the editor of the Peter Duck Portfolio. You can subscribe for free at www.peterduck.com. No credit card needed. This is a book that was commissioned to me by McGraw-Hill Education and is available in many languages. It's also available in Asia in different languages. And also I wrote these two books, and all my articles that I wrote are available on peterduck.com. Well, thank you very much for reviewing this video. I hope you find it useful and found this information that I gave you applicable to an investment strategy. And please, by the way, do not forget to subscribe below. It helps running the show, I guess. Take care. And I'll see you soon, I hope. Take care. Bye-bye.